Welcome to Rambam in Depth. Today we'll be discussing the Rambam, Hilchos Avodah Zarah, Perek Gimel, Halacha Tes. Ha'isa Avodah Zarah la'atzmai. If someone makes Avodah Zarah for himself, what does that mean? Either he makes it with his own hands, but then, even if it was made for him, as the Rambam continues, even if it was not made through his own hands, and even though he didn't worship it, nevertheless, he gets lashes. Shenemar, because it says, don't make for yourself any idol and any image. In other words, here the halacha is that even though you didn't do anything, you just ask someone, just with your speech, asking someone to make an Avodah Zarah, you get malchus. So the Lechem Mishneh over here asks the question, and others ask it, if someone else makes it for you, why do you get malchus? It's a lab she'ein b'maisa. There's no action over here, and we know that a lab she'ein b'maisa, there's no malchus. There's a machlokes in the Gemara, but the Rambam paskins like that in Hilchos Sanhedrin. And the Lechem Mishneh answers, "V'yesh leimer the kivan de ha'acher eisa maisa b'shlichusay have keila asahu v'chayiv." That since the other one has made it by your shliach, you asked him to do it, he becomes your shliach. So it's as if you did it. Shlucha shel adam k'maisa. So even though you didn't do it physically, there's no maisa, but the other person had maisa, and it's ascribed to you, the mishaleach. That's the Lechem Mishneh's answer. And the Minchat Chinuch questions that. Minchat Chinuch says, how could you say that because he's your shliach, you should get malchus? There's a klal in the Gemara, ein shliach ledvar aveira, that when someone sends you to do an aveira, you don't get charged for it, you don't get the punishment. Why? Because the shliach cannot become a shliach ledvar aveira, that you don't become liable for what the shliach does. Because divrei harav and divrei hatalmud, when the Rav tells you one thing or the Talmud tells you something else, you don't have a right to listen to the Talmud, and therefore you can't claim, I didn't do it on my own, it was done by the Mishaleach because he told me. No. Ain't shliach l'dvar avera. So the question is, how could you make this person liable for malchus because of shlichus? So some achreinim, the Machaneh Ephraim and others say that here it's more than shlichus. Here he's a pale, he's a worker. And when it comes to a worker, yad pale ki yad balabayas. It's just like the one who sent him, because he's more than a shliach. And therefore, in this case, we do say yesh shliach lidvar avera. That's one answer given. Another answer given, and this sounds more plausible, because the Lechem Mishneh doesn't mention anything about yad payil, about a worker. He says shlichus. Besides shlichus shel adam k'meisei. So some answer that yes, it's taka true, ein shliach lidvar avera. That's true when there's no Aveira. But over here there's an Aveira even without Shlichus. Without Shlichus there's an Aveira because you told someone to make something for you, and there's a pasuk that says that even so it's an Aveira to have someone else make an idol for you. So here we're using the Shlichus not to make the Aveira. Ain't Shlich Ledvar Aveira, but here there is an Aveira anyhow, regardless. Whether there's Malchus or not, there's an Aveira here. We're only using Shlich Dvar Aveira. We're only using it legabi the fact that it's considered as if you did it with your own hands. It's a maisa, and the maisa is ascribed to the mishaleach. If it would be a question about whether the aveira is misyachas to the mishaleach, we'd say no, because you had no right to listen to the Talmud. When the Rab tells you not to do it, what right did you have to listen to the mishaleach? So there's no way you can make that person liable. But when the person is liable anyhow for the Aveira, without the Malchus, so the fact that you're a Shliach, and Shlucha Shel Adam K'maisa, takes the Maisa of the Shliach and transfers it to the Mishaleach. That's another answer given by the Sefer Afikei Yam. Another, the Minchat Chinuch himself takes a different approach, different from the Lechem Mishneh. It's not Mitzat Shlichus. The Minchat Chinuch says, it's because there's a klal that when a dibur, when speech translates into action, then you do get malchus for dibur. For example, there's a law of chesima, of muzzling an ox when it's doing the threshing. What happens if you muzzle the ox just with speech? Using the sound of speech, it caused the ox to be muzzled. So there's malchus over there. Why? Because bidibura is avid maisa. The speech created something. Same thing over here. When you told this person to make the avodah zarah for you, so that led to him making the avodah zarah. So the speech, you get malchus not for making the avodah zarah, but for the speech that caused the making of avodah zarah. Others don't accept this answer because there's a very big difference. In the case of chsima, the sound itself made the act of muzzling. Here, the person who gives instructions to someone to make avodah zarah, his instructions didn't make the person do avodah zarah. The person has to do it on his own. So it could be the Minchat Chinuch is aware of that chiluk, but the Minchat Chinuch felt as long as the speech leads to action, it doesn't have to be direct, and therefore there can be malchus. At any rate, the answer is either it's because it's more than a shlichus, it's yad pa'il, yad balabayis, or in spite of the fact that en shlichus dvar avera, here you don't need the dvar avera to use shlichus for dvar avera, you need the shlichus that is considered a maisa, the iser is there anyhow, or the dibur over here is different than dibur elsewhere, where dibur itself does not get you malchus, but here the dibur led to action, and therefore there's malchus.